Alright, let's start. Oh hey, it's been a minute since we've seen Jade. You know, your quests are getting weirder by the day. I mean, no one's forcing you to take that one. Unless you have one on basilisk swarms waiting in the back, I think I'm good with this one. No basilisks, I'm afraid. Eager to kill some parental figures? You know it. Speaking of family, you haven't brought your sister by in a while. How is she? I don't know, we no longer speak. Oh, I didn't know that. You two were unbeatable when it came to bar fights. Yeah, I love her, but she's become a little too much like our parents, so I need to love her from afar. Or I want to be loving myself very much. Sorry to hear that. Cutting her off must hurt a lot. Must still hurt a lot. Come to terms with it. Came out stronger in the end, that's all I can do. Maybe. The wounds stay, don't they? People wound you, that's what they do. Can also heal you. It's a false sense of security. Eventually it all falls away. But everyone is doomed to become your enemy, including yourself. And I think you're doomed to say the weirdest things possible whenever you get the chance. It's a blessing, not a curse. If you want to see it that way. Has the rogue guy got any siblings? None that we know of. Their parents kinda faked their deaths, abandoned him when he was very young. They haven't exactly been writing postcards. Guess no one would handle that very well. What do you think about the whole killing them measure? Adds up to me. Does? Yeah, not like they ever faced any real consequences for being shitty. Always falls on the kids, doesn't it? You think being murdered is an appropriate consequence? It's not about what I think, I'm just taking the job. Right, but I was thinking... think less. I'd rather think about what you're gonna mix for me instead. So you're not even hesitating? I'm a bounty hunter and keeper. Monsters, I assumed. Not all monsters look unlike us. Well, you don't do charity. I don't. Expect a hefty payment by the end of this. That thief must have some jewels stored away somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Let me see. So, drinks. Drinks, of course. Murder. How would you like to approach it? A lot of force. Don't know how strong they are, but I need to be stronger. Maybe some defense in the mix might be good too. If their attack patterns turn out to be more complex than you thought. Seems like you do listen to me sometimes. Stories of fighting mirages and three-headed antelope are far too compelling to forget. I hope so. Still got any of those frozen pine cones lying around? The ones you gave me for the mountain mimic? Those deadbeats picked up some primordial magic. I could use some elemental protection. Ever as always, Jade. Obviously. Plus that frost armor's pretty cool. Luckily for you and your coolness factor. No. You and your health, I got a big shipment of them in last month. Cool, I'll take some of those then. You're not contending with another approach? No, unless... I guess there's another way. Is there? Listen, some things are unfixable. I'd saw both of my legs off before I'd ever talk to my folks again. This wound is fresh. Could be possible to delay the inevitable. Could convince him to leave, scare them off, banish them somewhere where they can't hurt him. That way he can find them later if he ever changes his mind. Maybe this rift isn't completely irreparable after all. Sounds like you're asking for some charisma. And some speed. Should hurry up before he does anything drastic himself. Yep, some dexterity might help too. You never know how they might react. Might have to dodge some blows. Huh, might have to. Got any of that inspiration garbage laying around? Ugh. My headset's doing a weird thing. There's like an awful noise that it's making. Still kinda doing it. This might be a voice meter thing. Let me close that and open this back up. You heard that too? Got any of that inspiration garbage lying around? Not so good with words when it comes to situations like this, and I might have to inspire them to be a little less awful. Could offer you either... There it goes again! Thunder Sage or Honey Flowers, whatever flavor you prefer. You choose about it all. Charisma, Dexterity, Inspiration... Huh. Weird? Because yeah, the only other thing I could possibly think that is doing that would be like voice meter, but the audio coming through voice meter isn't even showing up on stream anyway, so I don't see how that could be it. Alright. I think my decision about this would be tinted by my own experiences, so please a little help. Always, Jade, thank you for asking. Make sure to leave Onyx some leftovers. She's thirsty. Okay. Okay. Doesn't sound awful yet. So you wanted one of two things. I think I want to go the charisma route for you. So that we don't murder the parents. I think that's probably a good call. So we need charisma and speed. So let's see. Nice sunny breeze. Spoken heart? No. I don't quite know how this is going to work. So we need to do either this or this. So it's not that one, it's definitely this one. So let's do that. Okay. And from here, I mean, I don't think it'll let me make a sunny breeze. And a lot of these other ones just wouldn't work. I mean, I can try this. I don't think it'll work though. Oh wait, no, you already had some of that. So we definitely put you in. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, no, that's the wrong. I need charisma. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you have one there, and now I just need to do the defense. They did say a little bit of defense, possibly. So yeah, that's 1,000 wins. Okay, that is what I wanted. Cool. Maybe this cause isn't as lost as we think it is. Okay, well at least we solved the weird audio issue. I don't know why that was happening. And it was only Tavern Talk doing it. I've been playing other games on this PC like all day. Never heard a single audio issue. So I don't know what was up with that, but that was weird. They can't be reasoned with. Can always trick them and kill them that way, yeah. But I guess I'll try talking first. Let's hope this is the right choice. Don't you trust me? You wish. Don't forget to fill me in on your success. If I have any charisma left in me, you'll be sure to hear about it. Till then, don't tell them what I'm doing. Should keep this a secret between us. You do love those. Typical Fae, I guess. Oh, I'm a Fae? I mean, we knew that I wasn't human because I've clearly lived a long time, but I'm a Fae. Don't take too many names while I'm gone. I wouldn't dream of it. Oh, hey! How you doing? Nah, man, you gotta be careful with that ethereal bamboo. I mean, it's super cool and all, but if you cut it the wrong way, it's gonna charge up and... whoosh! Gone you are! Sucked into the ethereal weave. Oh, well... You know, like those fishies that kill you if you cook them the wrong way. Fish? Yes, they look like balls of spikes. Don't know about the name, though. You mean... sea urchins? Or pufferfish? Balls of spikes. Probably pufferfish. That! Whoa, wait, you're also here, lol. Sure am. You're looking fire. Nice drip! Thank you, Nico. Nico, can we stay on topic, please? Topic. But right, so I heard any type of vibration can trigger a small rift. It's like disturbing a sleeping dragon. Wrong move and the world's faltering and whatnot. So, you're saying if I use my bow the wrong way, I could open a rift and be lost in an ethereal weave? Bet! Would suck big time, but alas. Though, can't be entirely sure. I mean, what's the fun in knowing everything for sure? Don't be basic. Embrace the chaos. As long as you don't play any wrong notes, you should be fine. Nothing easier than that, especially under pressure. Especially then, I'm sure. And you have nothing to worry about, friend. Might even come in handy one day. The person who made your instrument must have had at least, like, one thought about making it like that. They did. Many thoughts, actually. Who's coming in? Oh, hey, Hex. Wait, you're taking a quest? Good mythical morning, innkeeper. I know, theopractically it's early afternoon, but who cares? Good theopractical morning. Almost there, you forgot the mythical. Good mythical theocratical morning. Better. Okay, listen up. I found this little leaflet on your notice board. And I saw you're finally sending someone out to investigate that abandoned wizard's tower. And I just decided that someone is me. Been wanting to see what's up there for a while now. Talk about good timing. Did you say wizard's tower? What's the T? Well, there's an abandoned wizard's tower near Niverduff on a small island called Morilla. Ah, the one with the worms. I think you can find worms in any ecosystem. That's what they want you to think. Sure. Either way, no one has seen the Wizard of Morilla in quite some time. So they say. I've been dying to know what he might be hiding in his tower. I bet lots of explosives. Hoping for scrolls of ancient magic and semi-cursed objects. Oh, and of course, books of forgotten knowledge. Rumor has it he left behind quite the hoard of peculiar trinkets. Surely, after all, as it states in this leaflet, traps, puzzles... must be something very valuable hidden in there. Maybe even the key to immortality. Or they were bored. Admittedly, I don't design puzzles when I'm bored, though. I blow things up. I love when things go boom. You two seem like a great combination. Same. You know what? What? I think you should take me and Voyboy along. Envoy? Listen, you say trinkets and I'm all in. I mean, the entropy we'd create if we traveled as a trio would be immaculate. We'd be able to tackle the wizard's puzzles and deathly traps with wits and... violence. And music. You have my lockpicks. And my Hagwum. Maybe the ethereal weave could even help. The old bamboo, huh? But an ethereal weave escape would only work with Shabian silk. Huh? The ghost spiders of Shabian use their silk to spin the weave. Good thing that these strings are made of Shabian silk, then. Right, then we can use your Hagum as our Plan C escape plan. Should the wizard be at home after all, or foster any monsters and any traps, your Hagum will be our way out. By dipping into the ethereal weave... Don't worry, it's like dreaming or teleporting. You'll just have to find your own way back out. Their voices are very similar, but they give off similar energies. We'll manage that. I'm a master teleporter. And I'm sure our innkeeping friend here has the right drink for you. Perhaps something that'll give you some brain cells. And quick reflexes, so I'm hasty and can evade traps. Good, that I don't need help with either. Shouldn't we be able to fight back fiercely in case something is lurking in the tower? Lots of traps probably means lots of fire, so fire resistance could help too. Fighting sounds good. I'd love to kill something, but I hate making decisions. I think the innkeeper should decide what to make. Fair, Iniko. Iniko is not opposed to violence and loves blowing things up. Even, or maybe especially, without any reason to do so. Lately, they seem to realize that being dependent on a team isn't half bad. It can even be fun, especially when you have equally chaotic acquaintances. Okay, so something strong to barge in and fight our way through paired with fire resistance to survive lethal traps. Or something for our brains that'll give us focus infused with haste. See what I can do. Don't hold me responsible for whatever ends up happening. We would never! Ever. Yeah. I mean, if they're dealing with traps and stuff... I feel like brains is probably the better. But we also never go with the combat version. We never go with the combat version, like, ever. So I'm like, you know, maybe we should go with that one for once. Since they're not, like, you know... I'm gonna go with the combat version. I'm gonna go with the combat version for them. Wait, like I said, we never do this. So... we need... one of those? Is that a Sailor's Courage? Depending on what we put in it. So let's see. Let's draw the Southern Brawler first. So you need this. the fire resistance, which is the peppers. And just the peppers? Yeah, the peppers is the only thing I have for the fire resistance. Okay, so that gives you attack and defense, which would not work for this particular drink. So if it's attack and defense, then that must mean it's Sailor's Courage that you need. Alright, so then we add 2 more of you. Then we add 1 speed. And you just need 1 charisma. Boom. Ding! Here we go. Some fireproof chaos. Thanks. Chasms, yeah! Permission for arson granted. Didn't say that. Well, it was up for interpretation. Don't worry, Innkeeper. We'll be fine, and Morla too, most likely. You know what we should do? What? We should take Jade along. She'd definitely be interested in the treasures too. Additional blade couldn't hurt. Any idea where we can find her and keep? Afraid she's already on a quest, so probably nowhere nearby. That's fine. We'll poach her. Good luck. Thank you. We shall return with a story worth telling. I can't wait. Bye, loser. Later, Iniko. Later, Voy. Okay, well that's just that's just a mess waiting to happen. Wow, that was the whole day, huh? I'm sure everything's gonna go wonderful and no one will be harmed with that group going out there. Oh yeah, it's raining again. Please no more flooding. That was a fast day. We just talked to Jade and Nim and then it was over. Hey Una. And I always forget your name. Hello, Innkeep. Look what I found. It's like a rare specimen of Archie to me. I'm one of a kind. Oh, you two know each other already? Of course you do. You know pretty much everyone in this city, huh? Of course I know him. He's quite the celebrity in town. Oh, I suppose I am. He's Zenith's most famous author. He even survived an assault by hordes of the vicious undead. Ah, author? I guess I really am an author, yes. Bummer. Yeah, I thought I could surprise you. How'd you two meet? I think he spotted me on the street. Must have thought I had a lot of stories to tell, so he asked me if he could write my biography. What a unique way to call someone old. She does have a lot of stories to tell. Gee, how many manuscript topics do you want to collect before you actually finish something? Well, you see, it's always important to collect ideas. Life itself is the best source of inspiration for any artist. Look at him. So eager to write, I just couldn't refuse that look in his big sparkly eyes. Writing down ideas is so much fun. Not only for the detective's magical story, but also holding on to Theo's memories through writing is really helping me with his death. I can make sure the world doesn't forget him. Glad you're doing a bit better now. Una, how come you want your biography to be written now? I don't really have a reason. I'm old. I've seen a lot of stuff. Would be sad if all that knowledge went to waste, right? It's not like you'll disappear any second now, is it? Of course not. I get it. Lots of terrible things have been happening lately. Ah, don't be silly. We'll be fine. It's always nice to see most of your friends return during times like these. Most of them. Stuff like this happens every few decades. It's completely normal. You say so. You going to pay Archie accordingly, though? That's what I'm here for. I'm a pay him in drinks. And I could also use a little refreshing drink myself. I gotcha. Anything specific you'd like today? Ah, the same as always. A drink to stay focused on my writing, to defend my brain against those distracting thoughts. Coming right up. So, you want the snow... Not the snow one, the, Frosted Lagoon. Which is just this. And then an attack and a charisma. So, give me that attack. Hold the charisma. Frosted Lagoon. Ugh. Here you go. Drink to boost your concentration. Thank you very much, dear Innkeeper. This is delicious. I can feel an irresistible itch in my fingertips already. Always happy to oblige. So, Una, what's it for you today? Maybe something that'll give me strength and energy to tell this whippersnapper every detail of my life. Yeah, that sounds about right. Give me a quick sec. Strength and energy, huh? Just strength, actually. So you want the brawler? which... don't quite remember. I think it has some defense in it, but I don't know what the final one is. Maybe speed? That's nothing. So clearly I got something wrong there. Southern Brawler. Ah, it was Charisma. There you go. Some liquid stamina for the Golden Girl. See if your skills are to be trusted and keep. Ah. Actually, I hope you're ready for at least 600 pages. That's a lot. You already agreed, so do not have a choice. Now, my dear Archibald, we'll begin with the writing. Thank you for your hospitality, Innkeep. See you later. Oh, Innkeeper, I'll remember to keep a copy of the book for you. Archie? There are experiences one must undergo in life to determine their future. Archie realized the life of an adventurer was nothing like he imagined it to be, and that's okay. Now he knows his desire for the pen outweighs that of the sword, and I'm very excited to get my hands on some signed copies of his works. Signed, please. Of course! Very well. Goodbye, you two. Here we go. Well, we're getting the final entry in the book for a lot of these characters. Oh, hey! You're the one with the Cerberus. Finally, my service beast and I have returned. Welcome back, Minthy. Good to see you, Innkeeper, and surprisingly your tavern's dry interior. Thought you might be appreciating the dampness of almost everything nowadays. Maybe while underwater, but wheels and mud do not mix. So you are a mermaid. On land I appreciate structurally sound and smooth wood flooring, much more than its soggy alternatives. Not bad. You would too, just step a few minutes past your tavern. Then you might get an idea of the things jammed in my spokes and spushed between Casket and Kane's toes. I'll pass. Besides, stories from my patrons are much more enjoyable. Speaking of, how'd the pearl hunt go? Honestly, it wasn't all too eventful, but before I go on, I could do with one of your drinks, Innkeeper. Something to keep my mind clear of any irrelevant distractions. See what I can do. That's a cool design. Alright. Big think drink. This one's easy. 1, 2, 3. And then it's just right across Charisma. There we are. Sparkling Nebula. May this inspire boundless creativity. Just what I needed. Only I had a boundless supply of this drink while writing at my desk. Fortunately, my establishment doesn't do deliveries. What a shame. Before you go on, I actually have something else for you. Huh, and here I thought I'd have to needle you for it again. What a pleasant surprise. Favorite kind. Here, completely proofread manuscript, I hope. Certainly hope it's completed. Since my retrieval and your proofreading have been such a long time in the making, yes? Right. Long in the making. Should probably wash that red ink off your hands before it stains your mugs. Oh, right. I was editing all my recipes all night. Crazy story, actually, for another time, that is. I see. I will say, it's good to have these papers back in my hands. I inquire as to why you asked them back now. Decided to finally publish the book. What I have written about is very dear to my heart, and I'm happy to finally get to share my writing with the world. Indeed, the author. There's a nice ring to it. It'll be Mackenzie Catron Pichon, actually. Very nice pen name. It was time I finally chose one, something universal at that. Procrastination is a curse all its own. Sure is. So about the pearl, or pearls? Protection pearls. Like I said, it wasn't too eventful. I had tea with the Banshee of the Lonesome Lagoon, and she traded me the pearls for objects of her desire. Mostly I promised her a signed copy of the book. Good for her. You know, I've been meaning to ask if I may. What do you need the pearls for exactly? I know you're often looking for them, but I was never sure why. Well, I'm sure you remember the curse I was bestowed with. Yes, the cursed parasitic rings that amplify your magic to a painful degree. Exactly those. They cause quite a lot of issues for me in my body. Sometimes it feels like the magic is eating away at me, slowly feasting on my organs and nerves. It's tearing me apart from the inside out as it gradually takes my health and life. The protection pearls help me keep the mana in check. They bring it down to manageable levels. Helps the pain a lot. You're saying you turn the pearls into a drink? Wonderful to see that that's your first solution to everything. Yes, on occasion I mostly grind them for into ink for my tattoos. They're very versatile little beauties. Happy you could find some then. Now that I think about it, care to share? I'm sure they'd be great for my drinks. Not so fast. For most people, they just amplify mana to ridiculous and dangerous degrees. And I don't want to be held responsible for the chaos your patrons could cause. However, maybe I can offer you something less extreme, but still energizing. Here. Cursed coffee. Cursed coffee? When you peer inside the steaming chalice looking at your own distorted reflection, you will find the darkest swirling depths. The blankness will be all-consuming, a gloom so bitter you might think you see the souls of damned swimming inside, but really you'll just be looking at a strong cup of coffee. Is this your infamous coffee recipe? After all these years, you finally trust me with it? It's time. I think you can finally make it without poisoning someone. Do my best, thank you. Perhaps it will also help you keep your promises in time. Anyhow, I think we're due to take our leave. Need to make some ink? Something like that. Plus, I promised Casket and Kane we'd check if any primordial tennis balls got washed up by the flood. Baya might be able to make you some moss balls. What a perfect excuse to catch up with her. Is she around? More frequently recently, it's nice. Miracle she still comes around after you exercised her favorite bog body. We were young and inexperienced, it happens. That it does. It was lovely to see you again, Innkeeper. Likewise. Best of luck on your journey, and don't forget to send me a copy of that book. Promise not to forget about its existence this time. Do my very best. You will, friend, I know you will. Yeah? Now who? Oh, end of day again. Wow. These days are moving. Some of the days go on for like a really, really long time. And then others are just really short. Okay. The Remnants. Hello? Taj? Jade, welcome back. Was your quest successful? Already we're getting resolution for this? When have I ever failed? Well, you do look surprisingly unbloodied. Also, hello, Kumo. Kumo? Who's Kumo? That guy. The screen got messed up? What in the world? How did that happen? Huh. That is very odd. Let me try unplugging the Elgato, actually. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Elgato must be being weird. That could be what was causing the issue earlier, too. Okay. God. Annoying. Alright. When in doubt, pull the HDMI out and put it back in. Phew. That guy. New name, I'm guessing? No. No names here. Never had a name. Don't even know what names are. Am I just supposed to go along with that? Supposed to make me a drink. Then we can talk. Fair enough. What can I get you? Still got plans after this, but Onyx is pretty tired. Just give me something that'll get her to keep up with my speed, if I let her have a sip. Anything for Onyx? Okay, let's see. Swift Strike then. Just want me to make another Swift Strike, okay. There we are. Busy at ant class, and now I'll get to be here while I prep things for tomorrow's ant field work. Ooh, fun. A drink for Onyx and you, but mostly Onyx. Not too bad, considering to see you know me so well. Being a regular does have its perks. So names? Start with the story first, you love those, right? You know it. Spared the details of my journey to Borkum, though I didn't miss a chance to make some extra money along the way. Everyone thought I was the right woman for their jobs. They helped me with this quest too. Squeezed a good description of the renegade parents out of some Red Dune merchant, who was in a deep dispute with a blue-crowned elephant. Love to hear that story, actually. Not my problem. Asking a couple of pointed questions got me to the inn the deadbeats were staying at. Problem with people is, can't exactly kill them in broad daylight. With monsters, you thank me for doing so. But with people, you gotta be patient. So I did what anyone would have done in my situation. I posed as a tour guide. They believed you? Sure did. Iniko was right, your drinks are great for pulling scams. Happy to hear that. Offered them a tour of the nearby Wadden Sea, and led them to an area I knew was shunned by actual tour guides because of the unpredictable tides. Gave them a spiel about how a battle of the Order of Starlight took place there, yada yada yada. Pretty soon their eyes were glued to some starfish playing in the mud. It's a perfect opportunity to get it over with quickly. Obviously I wasn't going to kill them just then. They needed a chance to run, but I had to scare them first. I raised my spear right above my head and was going for the warning strike when I heard this zinging sound. Ooh, you use a spear, cool. I deflected the knife that was flung my way at the last second, shattered it against the ground. All three of us turned and saw this cloaked Echo reaching for another knife. He had his hood pulled up, knives and daggers strapped all over his body. Even the air seemed to go darker around him. Looked like a real shadow bane. Trained under them. Impressive. Those deadbeats thought I was protecting them from him. Should have seen the look on their faces when I said I was there to kill them. I turned back, wanting to refocus on my warning strike when I was interrupted by a simple stop. It was said in this deep, raspy, incredibly fake voice that sounded like some sort of proper degenerate. Luckily, the two bums thought we were fighting against who'd get to kill them. Their approach to such a situation was to immediately try to bribe us. I told them to shut it. They asked me what I wanted, then, if it wasn't money or words. So I turned to our little Shadowbane and asked what he wanted. He just stood there quietly. Can't blame him. There's a little scarier than your parents. So you helped him with the decision? Not exactly. I walked over to him and handed him my spear. She said, "This is your choice. Make it." Felt like she was passing some of her courage on to me. Stepped forward, my spear in his hand, and took off his hood. He was... I'll spare you the details. They recognized him, of course. Bastards had the audacity to act surprised. Surprised is one way to put it. When they talked, they sounded so... like they thought I had died. You could have. They left you. I wanted to say something. Anything. Yell, tell them to get lost, scream at them for what they'd done to me, but... all that came out was, why did you leave? Their silence went on for so long. Would have been longer if those tides hadn't come rushing in. You did kind of walk into that one. Kind of. Luckily I was quick, got all of us up on some muddy rock that the waves couldn't reach. How long were you up there for? A couple of hours. Left us a lot of time to talk. Did you? Yes. A lot. For example, did you know the primordial flood was caused by the pyre erupting? Pyre? You mean the biggest volcano in all of Asteria, nestled right in Leviathan's domain? Yeah, apparently it erupted and then collapsed, covered all the primordial sea in ash and set off a tsunami. It should not be doing that. No. You think powerful magic was afoot? Probably not. What use is a giant tsunami to anyone? Maybe they wanted to be... wet? Probably not. Are tsunamis and their causes all you and your parents talked about? No. Mostly we talked about the leaving thing. They said not a day went by where they didn't regret what they'd done. I asked why they didn't come back then. They didn't have an answer for that. Mom said she was proud of my knife-throwing skills, though. Never thought they'd apologize. They ended up to all of it, as awful as it all was. I hadn't planned for that. They wanted to make up for everything and be a part of my life. They also said it was up to me and what I wanted. What do you want? A family. Is that stupid? No, it's not. So you forgave them? No, not yet. I have to see if they actually mean what they said first. Can't trust them right now. We don't really know each other anymore. Who knows if we'll get along. They did say they want to get to know me, and I think I might like that too. They're just so different. Feels like I'm angry at people that don't exist anymore. You're still allowed to be angry. Even if they change, they hurt you. Neither forgiveness nor forgetting is required. It just feels unfair, like I'm harboring resentment for ghosts. But I'll try to be honest with them, I owe that to myself. Plus Jade threatened to decapitate them if they ever hurt me again. They'd stand no chance. None. Can I have a drink now too? Sure, let's trade. Right. Secret? No, a name. I assume Jade didn't know you was Kumo because your parents didn't call you that. Correct. What do they call you then? I'm not... I'll trade you my name. Just give this guy a drink. First name? Those are quite, precious to Maida, right? Very. See it as a secret to trade for. Listening? Ulyssia. Beautiful name. I don't respond to flattery, but thank you. It's definitely better than mine. Interesting. Yours fits you. It does not. You say so. So not Ulyssia. What would you like in exchange? Wonder why you hate your original name so much. Have thoughts? Interesting. Maybe something that'll stop me from choking on my words. In case I have to do more of this emotional thing. Definitely got something for that. Alrighty, Spoken Heart. These three. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Phew. Here you are. Some fluid emotional vulnerability. Tastes a lot better than it sounds. Feels a lot better too. Maybe. Still need to call you something else though, if Kumo is out. It is. What have you got for me then? I'm running out of names. Jade, can I... Nope. My name. Fine. How about you just wanted to take Jade's name? Dave? You know what? Sure. I'll go with that. Proud of you, Dave. For everything you've gone through and for choosing what's right for you. Thank you. You need a hug? I've already gotten one from Jade. Oh, you're cracking that spiky outer shell. Of Dave. Speaking of, I've gotta go. I want to check in with Grace and her goons. See you around, Airboy. See you around, Ulyssia. So that is the final one. Turns out she went no contact with her family a while ago, although she's surprisingly good at solving disputes others have with their parents. I also received the honor of learning her first name, and it fits her well, and the adorable turtle's name is Onyx. Mind in naming schemes, you know. Well, I'm glad you're happy, Dave. What about you? Care to linger a little longer? I need some time to think all this over, maybe even feel it too. Is Fable back yet? I think Cheesecake would make for a great distraction right about now. No, I thought maybe you ran into them on the way back. I didn't. So Melly isn't back yet either. No, I'm afraid not. Cool. Great, I guess I'll talk to... Carolyn? Your parents? Maybe. Do you think they still love me? I don't know, I hope they do. I hope they'll love you well, but I don't know. I do know that other people love you, and that if your parents fail to live up to what you deserve, you won't be loved any less. Yeah, I mean, you can always get your found family. You have people that like you here. I'd like to believe that. Sometimes I just think if even my own parents could leave me, anyone can. Yeah, you have abandonment issues, that makes sense. Don't measure your worth by the actions of people that hurt you. Nothing good can come of that. I'm very thankful to have met you. Oh, I do love this whole arc that you've had. It's quite nice. Anyway, I'm also part of the night or whatever, so I must go. Farewell. See you soon. Dave's had such a nice arc. Opening up and saying that they're thankful that they met me. Bum, 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 bum. I'm wondering if, like, the reason that Dave specifically hates their first name. My initial thought was it's possibly a dead name or something, but thinking about it a little bit more, it might be because that's the name that his parents gave him, and he hates it for that reason. Which would make sense Especially if you hated them for most of your life, you would hate the name that they gave you as well. Oh, hey! Look who it is! No Fable, though. No Fable, though. How did you two find her? What? Innkeeper, surprise! Nice to see that you're back. Is Fable with you? No. Should they be? They were looking for you. You aren't a very good detective, then. Happy to see you're well, Millie. Everyone was worried about you. Why? Great at taking care of myself. You are, but where have you been all this time? Investigating things, obviously, like the flood. My investigation led me to Morla. More like they did. Nico, Voy, and Hex, I mean. I followed them to Morla. They were talking about mysteries and puzzles, and I'm trying to solve a mystery, so... couldn't let the opportunity pass me by. You're lucky. People usually pay a lot of money to spend time with me. Why? But... because I'm... like, famous? Yeah, you gonna explain what you meant by that, Voy? To the child? Yeah, that's right. Shut up, Voy. But I didn't go there because of you, I was following clues. Okay. I stayed outside. My case isn't about a wizard, not this time. Where's Hex anyway? You know, doing wizard things. Like arson? That would have been fun, but instead he chose to study. He immediately wanted to check out the spells he found. Though he seemed pretty disheartened. How come? Not sure. I guess he didn't find what he was looking for. Maybe because the world's greatest treasure was already traveling with him. What would that be? Me. Never mind. He told us to keep an eye out for any time magic razzle-dazzle. But we found nothing. At least he managed to get inside and return safely. Yeah. The way there was easy peasy. We got there thanks to Nico pulling off a shape-shifting trick and pretending to be a merchant. Stole some guy's coat and face and used his reputation to secure us a boat ride to Morla. Said I wanted to meet with a real estate agent from the Magocracy to buy the island. I told them to pick us up in a week or so, but then we'd be far gone. What happened once you reached the island? A burning tower happened. What? It was an accident. It was fun. It was like fireworks. He must have stored some magnesiums in the attic. Smart of you to give Hex some fire resistance, else that son of a gun would have been put up in flames. Oh! I did make the right call? Would Hex be dead? If I hadn't given them fire resistance? Let's start at the beginning. Fireballs taste better with a dramatic setup, so I did make the right choice! You're right. I should have eaten the fireball. That's not... inspiring as use, Voyo. Thanks. Before you continue, I'm kind of thirsty. Can I have a drink? Something that tastes like smartness and wisdom. Gotcha. Okay, well, I know that you just want one of these because this is always what you want. Because you are a detective. Boom, and boom. This is great. You're really good at picking up clues. Okay, so, picture this. We got a Morla, an island so small it's basically the tower's wild backyard. As I walked between the crystalline roses, I expected to see secret passageways hiding beyond every corner. I almost brought you back a rose. Why didn't you? I thought you wouldn't like it. I would have. Oh, okay, that's moving on. I love this. I love that I can just flirt and make you incredibly uncomfortable. Tower itself reached so high. I guess not incredibly uncomfortable, but more like embarrassed. Incredibly uncomfortable reaction to flirting is different. That's creepy flirting. This is more so, no, I'm teasing you. Tower itself reached so high, I thought it might be reaching out to kiss the moon itself. It was really tilted, at about a 5-degree angle. I measured it with my paws. The bricks were still wet. I'm sure the tsunami shook its foundation. I think the waves would have done us a favor and knocked us down the door, but nope. The locked door was the first challenge. Iniko's lockpicks broke. Seemed like a skill issue. Broke? Skill issue? Bro, that door ate my lockpicks! Okay. Okay. Thank you, Iniko. Ah, door mimic. Classic first step to securing your establishment. Talk like you've seen one before. Have you ever tried to open my door when the inn's closed? No? If you do, don't use any lockpicks and take care of your fingertips. We have a door mimic! So, how'd you get inside? Brute force. Together we were able to pull up the door enough to break off its hinges. Together? You didn't really do much of anything, man. Just told us you can do it, guys, while hiding behind a bush. Worked, didn't it? Anyway, they crashed through and landed on their faces. Swoosh! An axe flew past our heads. Curse traps. I walked in after them and immediately slipped on the wet floor. But no show is ever lost due to a faux pas. It merely makes you more sympathetic to the audience. Except for the lock, I believe I lost its sympathy completely. Should have played it a song instead. Maybe next time, Voyo. Oh god, hiccup. After Hex figured out how to time getting past that swinging axe, we explored the tower. It was so much taller and bigger on the inside. Like a pocket dimension, so freaking cool. Except the tower can't really fit in your pocket. Bet. Hex walked ahead. Guy was really distracted. You didn't even listen to my poem about the symbiotic relationship between axe and door. For a long time we didn't encounter anything, just a long hallway, no doors, only a bunch of strange paintings. Of course, most hallways can't go on forever, so eventually we reached the staircase. But what felt like 5.5 minutes. Eternity. Meanwhile, I was outside investigating the flora and fauna. Everything was very peculiar, like it was all from another world. The colors were different, very blue and almost spectral. And there were a lot of spider webs, or yarn, not sure which. Suddenly the ground shook and almost knocked me off my feet. I would have guessed there were pressure plates on those stairs. I stood up on my tiptoes to cut off a golden cord that would have made for a great belt. I stepped on a pressure plate and triggered an explosion, and... Clonk! The whole staircase began crumbling down into a pit of nothingness. Yeah, you all just invaded Sin's fortress. Bit by bit, starting from the bottom. I rushed upwards to safety, away from the weird wizard of this. But Hex stumbled backwards as the ground gave way beneath him. I grabbed his hand just before he fell, but I'm not as strong as I look. My muscles, along with the courage in my heart, were failing us. Suddenly I felt a pull on my collar and someone dragged us up the stairs away from our certain doom. You know, I was thinking about what else might have been waiting up there, and going at it alone I could have gotten lost. Thank you for saving us, Nico. No problem, Voyboy, don't get used to it. Didn't you expect a trap like that? After all, a great wizard would want to protect their treasure. I guess we were a little distracted by all the gold hanging from the walls. The staircase ended in a wondrous library that spiraled endlessly higher around the town's inside walls. We lost Hex at the bottom, in the first row of books. A lot of them were drenched, didn't seem like the tower was waterproof. There was still primordial water dripping from somewhere above. Couldn't make out the ceiling, tried to reach it though. Still, the second story of the spiral staircase library had 3 paths leading away. Each path ended in a door. All 3 doors were closed and marked, with runes or paintings or rusty old locks. Called for Hex and like 10 minutes went by without a reply. So we started looking around. But they were just books and books, spell scrolls. Forget about the scroll in the glass cabinet, that one looked fun. I knew Hex was looking for spells, so I called him again. As soon as I mentioned an oddly floating scroll, he came sprinting upwards, staring at the glass case. He already had another scroll tucked into his coat. Honestly, I was expecting him to be carrying half the library at this point, but I guess that would have been too heavy for him. Of course, the stupid glass case was also a puzzle. Had no lock, no lid, no nothing, just glass and a gold frame. The scroll itself was glowing a promising blue. I suggested breaking the glass. Hex gave me his finest death glare. So he investigated the puzzle himself. While they were doing boring side quests, I made sure to stuff my pockets. Found a jeweled silver paperweight shaped like a bird that'll make for a great blunt weapon. Oh my god! Iniko is actually just chaos. Hex was too scared we'd destroy the scroll by triggering another contraption, so... he suggested we look around in the adjacent rooms. Riddle doors. Riddle doors that Hex quickly figured out. Sure, a few books got burned, but it was nothing compared to what could have happened. Still don't get what he was talking about. Me neither, to be honest, but we aren't the brains of the operations, so... speak for yourself, pretty boy! He blushed. I think the puzzle had to do with some of the books in the library, and pulling them on in the right order or something to unlock the compartments. He held the passwords to get us into the rooms, and we had to do that for each door. It was so lame. It's kind of exciting, seeing Hex hop up and down the stairs looking for the right books. First password was password, the second password was passwords past the password, and the third one was passwords past the passwords password? You wish, but no. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what Sir Lost It Wizard made us skim the whole library for. One of the rooms was an alchemy lab, another was a study full of crazy inventions and books, You always just try like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 1, 1, 1. The third one was a gym. A gym? Yep. As soon as we had opened all the doors, the tower began to shake and rumble again. I believe now it's your turn to tell the story, Millie. Of course! Snooping through the garden, I found a weirdly shaped stone. It was glistening in the sunlight and caught my attention. I picked it up to investigate it further and sorta didn't see the rope attached to it. As if I had pulled off some sort of hidden support beam, the whole tower began to crumble. Carefully I put the shiny stone back, but nothing changed. The tower kept rumbling like it was awakening from a deep slumber. It made us think we screwed up the riddle. Technically, we can't prove a correlation. You could have very well screwed up. Doesn't matter who screwed that up. Mishaps make for better stories. I think. The whole tower started turning on its own axis and the bricks were grinding against each other. Finally, something thrilling. It was as though all the traps were activated at the same time. Like a scalded cat, Hex rushed into the wizard's study to grab as many papers as he could. Bookshelves in the library leaned forward and unhinged from the walls as they crashed downwards. Into the abyss. Revealing a dark void behind them. Nightmarish creatures started crawling out of the void. They looked like bats made of stone. Gargoyles? They reminded me of my auntie's place. I tried to fight them off, but there were too many, even for me. The tower had turned into a living machine, trying its hardest to get rid of us. I had to retreat into the alchemy lab. Hex joined us last minute, pocket full of papers, that nerd. He cast a fireball right at the monsters in front of us. Obviously the library caught fire and the ensuing shock sent us both tumbling backwards. I got to revile a shimmering red liquid that I had set aside to taste test. No windows in the room, we were trapped inside with the fire closed in on us. Felt the heat licking my skin and singeing my hair, and then a red shimmering liquid that I knocked over caught fire as well. Started building up pressure in the room like an overloaded valve. It's only a matter of time until we'd explode into pieces. Hex screamed something to me about playing a note, the clearest one I'd ever played. I was confused. Thought he'd already succumbed to the fumes, but then Nico reminded me. Ethereal bamboo! So I took my hagwom and put the fingers to the strings. With the physical pressure of an explosion combined with the mental pressure of having to do it right, he was darn nervous. Yup. Hex tried to keep the fire away from us, but it didn't react to any of his spells. Straight up consuming them. So I took a page out of Void Boy's book and started yelling encouraging words at him. You weren't too bad at it, ish. Still took me 3 tries to hit the right note and rip open a portal to the ethereal weave. It was insane. Suddenly time stood still. Everything was frozen over by an odd spectral blue shimmer. Like the one on the plants. Just as we heard the sizzle of an impending explosion, we were pulled into the rift I had just created. Whoosh! We were swirling in a sea of blues and whites. Time was going by very slowly, or not at all. We jumped off the tower. No walls could stop us anymore. Or so we thought, until one collapsed on top of us. Everything turned dark. We awoke on the north side of the island. Smoke was rising into the sky. However, it was in shambles. Well, it sure was. After I put the stone back, it all happened so fast. The tower coiled around itself and started ascending into the sky. And suddenly, 3 explosions rattled the building. Boom! The tower was obliterated to pieces, blue and white lights flying into the air. Somewhere in the distance, 3 silhouettes fell from the sky. I snuck up to them and saw Iniko, Hex, and Void lying in the sand. It was great to have a friendly face be the first thing we saw. Should have been our clue to relax, but my man Hex was committed to finding anything he could in the ashes. Didn't even say hello to me. And guess what he found? Crazy Ridley glass case, not one scratch on it. The scroll was still floating in there in perfect serenity. Hex took it. He said he'd figure out how to open it once we were back in the mainland. Didn't really rescue much else of value. Except this peculiar little trinket. Thought it'd fit your tavern. Ooh, thank you. I honestly have absolutely no idea what it is. Looks like an ori to me. What kind of berry? An ori. They show different realms and how they're intertwined with each other. That's what it is. Preem! Some gear seem to be missing, though. Also, I have no clues which realms it's supposed to represent. Well, it's yours now. Cope. Thanks. Other than that, the spell scroll in Hex's pocket made it out alive, too. Lucky nerd. So disappointed, said he needed to take a breather. Continued investigating traces in the sand, a new set of footsteps had appeared. I thought perhaps the wizard had returned, but then I heard hushed voices. Someone was talking to Hex. Huh. Interesting. Did you travel as a group of 4 after all? I mean 5? Nah. When I peeked around a tree, I saw Hex sitting by the shore gazing far off into the horizon. All by himself. Maybe it's just my imagination after all. Hex finally graced us with his presence again. I was roasting marshmallows over the fire. They weren't the only thing that was fire. Bud, you're making less sense than me. Iniko's great. Iniko's great. Just pure, I'm just going to say the weirdest things possible. Marshmallows were delicious. All the treasure was gone except for what we had in our pockets. Though figuring out that my hagwom could do that was the biggest treasure of my day. Yeah, that was so cool. That sounds very cool. Out of curiosity, how did you manage to get back? Jade saved us. We tried to recruit her, but the party pooper didn't have time. But she decided to follow up after her other quest was done. Bummer there wasn't any loot to share, but hey, at least we had a ride back. Sorry to hear that you didn't get what you wanted. I mean, Nico and I had fun. I just think Hex was disappointed. He'll be okay. He's smart. He'll figure out whatever spell he needed from the wizard himself. Sure he will. Though, do you think the Magocracy will be upset we destroyed that very valuable treasure house? Dunno. Don't care. What a story. Can't wait to share it with Archie. Be on my way now. New Voy information. Apparently his hagwom also doubles as a magical teleportation device, and it can open the ethereal weave. Luckily he's safe as long as he plays the right notes. Slowly but steadily he's getting over his stage fright, learning how to use his skills. I hope Grace and I get tickets to his next concert. So how many more characters do we have to fill in? Okay, we still have more about Clay, a lot more about Clay. We still have one more entry for Una, one more for Melina, one more for Grace, one more for Scully, one more for Hex, but we've been getting the 3s for a few people. Yeah. We still need Carolyn and Dave, Alithia, and yeah, I was thinking Kyle and Rhea too. I'll be on my way now. Gotta check up on Hex and make sure he didn't accidentally take a book mimic home. Coming with, Nico? Sure thing. So long, Innkeep. Bye, Innkeeper. Don't miss me too much. Try not to. Hey, and there's the Hex. He even explored an abandoned wizard's tower to look for maybe forbidden spells. According to his accomplices, he was rather fixated on inspecting every piece of loot, as if he was looking for something particular. A spell to protect his sister, maybe? Yeah, there's one character that we haven't gotten yet. We'll probably... maybe next chapter? Now it's just you and me, Innkeeper. Indeed. Glad you're back. Making it sound like I was lost or kidnapped. Some of the characters don't even get added to our book. Like the Dryad character that likes birds, and then, Merfriend. I was just investigating. Not telling anyone? I don't need to tell anyone where I'm going. They care about you, Melly. They get worried if they don't know where you are. Oh. I'm not used to that. Yeah. No, I get it. But I care about people too, like you. It's good to hear. Melly is safe and sound. Hey, Dave's here. Melly. Hi, Aura. Hi, Dave. Oh, that name is so outdated. You're back. I am. Did you miss me? Did I was just very worried. What? You called me Melly. What about it? You've never done that before. I'm sure I have. You even said you'd never call me Melly. I'm just glad you're back. Welcome back to my tavern, Dave. That's a cute one. Yeah, I got it on my latest quest. Dave, you made a good choice. I also went on the quest. Well, at first I wanted to find the moon swamps. You know, the mysterious magical swamp that is said to be magically hidden and only appears in foggy and starry nights? I'd heard there's somewhere in the moon swamp, but near the portal to the Twilight Chasm. Did you find anything? No, I did find some weird way markers made of bones that seemed to lead somewhere. They had "Do Not Touch" written on them, and the paint even seemed fresh, so it looked like the perfect clue. And then suddenly there were just gallons of water everywhere. Luckily I got away quick, and since I was already there, as Fija's best detective, it was my duty to discover the flood's origins. Well, at first I was more of a stowaway than a detective, and I also couldn't figure out what... Don't storm off like that ever again, you understand? I was so worried and no one knew anything about your whereabouts. I don't know. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. It's just I haven't cared about anyone in so long. And with you and Fable both suddenly gone, I didn't know what to do. I thought you didn't care. After you went away, even though I asked you to be more careful. I thought maybe you didn't want to be my trusty assistant after all. So I went to investigate alone. Sorry for leaving. It's alright. I'm used to people leaving and not coming back. I do care, Melly. I'm just kinda new to this whole honesty thing. Kinda new to this whole empathy thing. Yeah, I figured. If you'd like, I could fix you a drink to help you find your words again. I don't know if I'm up for trading another secret in exchange. It's on me today. Got nothing to worry about. So let me see what I can get you. Spoken heart. Always with the spoken heart. Alright. Well, I'm glad that, you get to see that Melly is okay. Alright. Here's your spoken heart. We might hit chapter 4 today. Enjoy your magical liquid eloquence. Doesn't taste half bad. This might actually help. So, your quest. Jade said you were stranded on Morla? Yep, I followed 3 very suspicious looking fellows and somehow ended up on that island. Why do I always run into wizards and magic when I'm out on adventures? And traps! Magical traps everywhere. Sounds very dangerous. Detectives always seeking thrills. I'll make sure to be more careful, I promise. It's not about that. I know you know how to take care of yourself. Otherwise you wouldn't have solved the T-Rex case. Heh. But don't keep putting your own life at risk in exchange for a quick adventure. Jay told me the whole wizard tower burned down. It wasn't me, I promise. I didn't do anything. All I'm saying is, don't disappear again. Please. You're not alone anymore. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Like you're one to talk. I think you got a point, Melly. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to him as well. You're both guilty. But you two also have made a lot of progress already. And I'm glad both of you made it back safely. Heard anything from Fable? No, not yet. What about Carolyn? She came back after the flood. Currently she's investigating some undead sightings at the Pale Woods. Do you know when she'll be back? No, but the two of you can wait here for her if you want. Yes, please. I want to stay until Carolyn gets back. Alright, I'll keep you company. How about I spice up your wait with another drink? I'll pass. Oh, but I'd like one, please. Of course, do you want anything specific? The adventure was pretty exhausting. Combat my mental tiredness? Okay. Same drink as always for Melly. Yeah, they definitely have their favorites that you do just give them a lot. There we go. Yeah, needed some water. See if this will wake you up again. Oh, thank you. This is delicious. I can feel my synapses connecting. I don't know what that's like. You know, now that I've had time to think about it, I think I figured out why Hex was so bummed about the loot. Care to share your insight? But of course. He has a younger sister, right? Which always struck me as odd. She looks so much older than him. So what if she just ages faster than he does? And he expected to find some very special loot in that wizard tower, but he didn't find it. So what if he was looking for something to extend her life? That would make sense. Like a scroll of immortality. What a foolish idea. Hey! Not you, Hex. Even if it's tempting, those are powers that no one should interfere with. I agree. What if she turns into a zombie? I've had enough of them. Definitely. We should tell him when we see him again. Or maybe we should tell Carolyn when she returns. She seems to be experienced in dealing with the undead. You think it'll be a long time before she gets back? Well, no. Could be very soon, but it could also take a few more days. Had a long day. Aren't you tired, Millie? No. I'm not tired. At all. Let's wait for a little bit longer. Maybe she'll show up with Fable with her. Sounds good. Alright. Not tired at all, you say. Melly left. Did she fall asleep? Yeah. Maybe I should bring her home and wrap this up for the night. It's a good idea. We should get some rest as well. I'll let you know if I hear anything about Carolyn or Fable. Alright. There's not much for me to do otherwise. Except care for Melly. She needs you. Yeah, I think you might be right. Night, Dave. You know... forget it. See ya. Hey, and then there's my entry for Melly. Melly is already a source of inspiration for a certain writer, maybe because she seems so independent. Though her latest adventure has taught her that she can't do everything alone. It's good to see that she's allowed herself to be a child again. After everything, couldn't be more proud. Is that the end of the day, or do we have somebody else? Nope. That's another day down. Enjoy your food, Andu. Disaster, tea, and revelations. I don't like disaster. What does that entail? Hi? Oh, hey, Clay. And Alithia. It's been a while for you two. Welcome back. It's good to see you both again. Hold your enthusiasm, innkeeper. We bring tales of disaster. Mind a little disaster in my tales. After all, you tell them so well. She really does. As do you, Clay. Thank you. Hope my stories are as good as your drinks. They are to me. Speaking of which, can I offer you a drink in exchange for a little insight? That'd be great. Something that feels strong and magic-y? You remembered. Yes, that one, please. Coming right up. Strong and magic-y. Is that just... yeah, big damage. So, that can be Southern Brawler. This music sounds kind of somber right now. I mean, I'm guessing like another thing happened. Something tasty and strong, but hopefully not disastrous. Very tasty, very strong. You really got the best drinks around. Happy to hear that. So yeah, you're bursting at the seams. How were the archives? Fun. Were they? Mayhaps. The Bleak Stalkers were... bleak? Cute. Cute? Very. Jade told us where to find the entrance to the archives. And when we got there, we were surrounded by Bleak Stalkers. They were quite numerous. And so, shaped. I decided to ask if they could let us through. And I thought he might need some help with that. So I called on your honey flowers and I extended my divine light to him. I made him glow softly, and they all flocked to him like moths to a gentle flame. Did you know they have velvet wings they can fold into their bodies? I didn't. It's fascinating. They were so cuddly and showed off their crawling skills in exchange for carrots. I asked them if they would like to be our tour guides, and they were so excited. Oh. They'd never been tour guides before, and at first they thought it involved eating people. I might have acted a bit standoffish when trying to correct their misconception. Clay was able to convey the message much better. He's very good at explaining things. I think he really understands people. And that helps him meet them where they're at. I try to. Everyone has their own way of understanding things. I think that's beautiful. It is. Envy your empathetic approach to life, Clay. Thank you. You've got your own strengths. Oh, yeah, Clay's the best. Adorable. Like how you're a master of strategy, or how you're so good at making people feel safe. I suppose we make a great team. The best, I might say. We make a great team with the Bleatstalkers, too. They led us straight into the archives, which were huge. Large parts of the Everbloom had collapsed, but even the explorable sections were unbelievably spacious. We had no time for a proper tour, unfortunately. We had to make it back in time for the barbecue, after all. It meant we had to be efficient during our search. Though we did take a break to admire the artist hall the creatures that excitedly led us to. Yeah, what is gonna happen to Fable's barbecue? We found abandoned pottery equipment that distracted us a little too much. Using more time than was perhaps appropriate, we molded tiny versions of the little critters as a gift to them. They love them. Excuse me? You stopped and made little figurines of the Bleak Horrors to give to the Bleak Horrors. Afterwards, we split up to cover more ground, or Bleak Stalkers. Each of us was guided by a group of Bleak Stalkers. Dangerous choice, that's when the monsters get you. That's what Clay said, so I enchanted the friendship bracelets. That way, they would always sense in which direction the other person was located, so neither of us would get lost. It was so smart. It was very useful. So you kept yours on. I did. Look at their little friendship bracelets! I can't believe Clay is so incredibly wholesome that you broke Alithya's like frozen facade. Like, look at this. You got Alithya wearing a friendship bracelet and making little figurines out of horrors. It really helps with navigating around the archives too. It's a beautiful place, you know. I mean, everything's overgrown with vines or withered and full of termites. But we could still tell how much care had gone into building it. Some of the tree branches still had leaves on them. And I saw a couple of stubborn lotus daisies trying to break through around the rocks. I taught the bleat stalkers how to water them. They loved drinking out of the watering can, but they also enjoyed sharing their water with the lotus daisies. Clay is my favorite now. Clay is fantastic. I'm just imagining him instructing some, like, creature how to use a watering can, and they get so excited. I like extreme capability, but I will accept hot, big sweethearts. Yes. Hopefully they'll grow stronger again soon. What a shame all the effort that went into building the archives was for nothing. But it wasn't. It meant something to someone once. And I could still feel that love in it, even during our visit. Maybe it'll even bloom again. It's called the Everbloom, right? Like forever? I wonder who named it. We should go back sometime and see if we can find any information about the archivists. I bet they know some great drinking games. Perhaps we should honor their contributions by studying the knowledge they left behind. Why not both? They should be people first, symbols second. Oh. Yes, I guess both work too. Good idea, Clay. You're blushing a lot. You're blushing a lot. What else did you find in the archives, besides friends and the beauty and horrors of time, I mean? I got a little distracted when I asked our new friends to point me towards the cooking section. It was so vast. I found so many new bread recipes I can't wait to try out. I also found something for you. For me? Yes, a recipe from a book on mixology. First I thought about taking the whole thing, but it was a giant tome and the bleak stalkers were so attached. So I ripped out the page that looked the most interesting. We thought it would fit your repertoire. I think it does, thank you very much. Last Whisper. That's an item in League of Legends. Last Whisper stealths itself into your heart. It provides a boost to strength and speed and has a tough, if somewhat bitter, aftertaste that will awaken your senses. Sometimes all you need is the right balance between elegance and brute force and the correct translation of an ancient recipe. As for me, I asked them to lead me towards dangerous knowledge and soon found myself in a hidden study. The bleak stalkers didn't want to go inside, like they were scared of its contents. So I rewarded them with some treats and ventured inside alone. Sounds like you got along with them rather well. I grew quite attached. Perhaps I would even call them my favorite animals. It means we solved your favorite animal quest. We did. They almost made me want to stay and waste more time, isn't that strange? Not in the slightest. Time well spent is never wasted. I forgot about the favorite animal quest. That was, oh my god. Perhaps you're right. Anyhow, the study. It was a complete mess, full of scripture scrolls and written ramblings that would be forbidden for these days. A little exciting. And worrying. The papers I was able to translate spoke of the apocalypse, of the end of it all. There was research on the roots of the Aether Tree and how to unbind them, written with shaking hands and fading ink. Was this more the scholarly or mad scientist type of research? Hard to tell. The lines tend to blur with blasphemy. Do you know a lot about the Aether Tree? Because Tia gave me a whole presentation about it. I wouldn't mind a refresher. It's a giant tree. Good start. A world tree. That means our world rests on it. In it? Around it? Somewhere? In it, mostly. Depends on who you ask. The dragons guard the tree because they created it, maybe? But definitely because they care for us. And since we live in it, it should keep existing as it does now, because no one wants their house to crumble. A lot of people would get hurt if something happened to everyone's home. Oh, Clay. I just love your art, too. Even a big guy like him needs a bit of encouragement and positive reinforcement sometimes. I think he and Miss Anwar are definitely a good team. They even have matching friendship bracelets. Now they just have to wear them. Clay also loves good food and would never want to miss out on a delicious barbecue. It's true, but luckily for us, damaging the Aether Tree isn't possible. It's larger than we could ever imagine. To us, it's really more of a concept than a tree. And the dragons defend it. Despite their oath of neutrality, they're no easy foes. There is one way. The Sigils of Alcahest. The what now? The Sigils of Alcahest. They're the key to destroying the Aether Tree, according to the scrolls I studied under the Archive's candlelight. Are they some sort of spell? More of a manual to a self-fulfilling prophecy, a way of breaking the cosmos in accordance with its own rules. Wow, it'd be really unfortunate for us if a nihilist got a hold of that. For the tree to crumble, its foundation must be fractured. The 5 sigils of Alcahest represent the 5 dragons, each of which must be damaged to topple our world's balance. Only then can our cosmos reshape itself. The scrolls spoke of experiments for creating a sigil, unsuccessful experiments. It's reassuring. Not quite. They were only unsuccessful back then. Next to the notes of old, I found others written on cleaner, newer parchment with unfaded ink. Much of it was incomprehensible, written in languages I've never seen. Various sketches of whales caught my eye, as did altered frostbite scrolls. Sounds unsettlingly familiar. I fear that the star fall broke a sigil. By ripping holes in Cassiopeia's wings, it destabilized her flight. If she's damaged any further, time could be sent into disarray. Meanwhile, the tsunami, like I heard, didn't just plague the archives. The waves broke down the barriers between the primordial sea and the Twilight Chasm in ways never seen before. So that's 2 broken sigils? That's not good. What an incredible understatement. I didn't have anything better to say! To witness one such sigil fracture would be anxiety-inducing enough. Knowing it has happened to 2 will keep me up for many nights. It's not 2, it's 3. 3? Alongside the notes, I found an old map with fresh markings. All the names were outdated, but the intention was clear. Marked were the 5 interplanar portals. 30 years ago, their sudden appearance tore fissures into Gaia. I believe they were the first sigil. Bad, right? Very. Who could have done this? I don't know, and why of all things. The Aether Tree collapsed or even shifted from its perfect balance. The destruction would end us all. Who would want that? No one thinking rationally, that's for sure. They might have a good reason for it. Maybe we can talk them out of it? I doubt it. Me too. Whoever it may be that's causing this, they only have 2 sigils left. Burr would be quite bad, right? Don't they say that waking the Elder Dragon will start the apocalypse? They do. I feel like there's too many ways to start the apocalypse. Maybe they're all connected, and waking will break the last sigil. Although I'd like to think breaking all the sigils is indeed impossible. Because it's impossible to reach Twat in the spirit realm, correct? It's not exactly impossible. One can make it to the spirit dragon via the astral sea at the dawn of the dying moon. That's in 5 days, right? Yes, but worry not. To reach such a specific location within the astral realm, very specific rituals are necessary. And Gaia's portal to Cassiopea is indispensable. Said portal is located in and safely protected by the Aperture, the stronghold of the Order of Starlight. And its rituals must be performed with outstanding accuracy to withstand the treacherous astral currents. Only the highest-ranking members of the Order are privy to this knowledge. And I guarantee you all of us would rather die than aid in the destruction of this world. The rest of them are half as stubborn as you are. I think we're well protected, but it only takes one of them. Exactly. That's good then. The rest is worse. What's bad is that we don't know who's behind this. Or why. By the dragons in the endless horizon, anyone would desire something so vile. I can already sense your next quest. I can offer you a drink first. Your throat must be dry from all that exposition. I wouldn't say no to a drink. Perhaps something that will help keep my mind intact, defended from lunacy. I feel like I'm going mad. Okay. Yeah, that was a lot. Okay, so we have, like, context for what exactly has been happening, and probably context for what is eventually going to be our end game. So... that's a thing. We still know nothing about Fable. Or where they are. So that's also a thing. We will see. A delicious defense against the absurdity of evil plots. Thank you. This makes me feel a little bit less conspiratorial. Needed a breather. Know what else would make for a great breather? Fable's barbecue. Exactly! You're right, that would be quite pleasant right now. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think the barbecue is happening today. Fable hasn't returned from their quest yet. Oh. What quest are they on? Finding Melina. But we just saw Melly on the way here. Perhaps they found another quest while out. Heroism can be infectious like that. Innkeep, what kind of drink did you mix them? None. Maybe we should go look for them. Maybe so. Please do or don't. See, I mean, I'm thinking of a few things. So, one potential ending is I send them and they get into the same trouble Fable may or may not be in. Another possible one is I send them and then Fable is even more pissed off because I didn't trust them with the quest. The other option is I say don't, and then Fable did actually need help and I didn't send them out. Also, Clay is staring into my soul right now. Clay, quit it, please. Would you two be the best? See, the other thing is I don't know if I have an option to send, like, other people or something either. I mean, out of the people here, I feel like these two might be, like, some of the most suited to the task. Please do. No one has seen them in days. And the last things I said to them, I'd hate for those words to stay the last. Please help me find them. Of course, I'm sure they could slay any monsters without us, but some extra hands couldn't hurt. But you have to deliver your apologies yourself. I'll slay that beast when it comes to it. Very well. But first we must solve our urgent sigil problem. I feel like we're just missing one piece. Oh hey, Kyle's finally back! A piece of what? Cake? I'd like to order my usual cake, innkeeper. I don't serve cake, never have. Oh, maybe you should. Another delicious delicacy would be... Also still no blood. Oh. Sorrow I'm feeling almost equals the grief I felt after the vampire glitter competition of 1389. Oh. I had run out of glitter. I could serve you one of my usual drinks to alleviate some of that headache. We haven't seen Kyle in a while. That would be splendid. I'd like something to enhance my immortal strength. No shopping bag shall hold me back today. See what I can do. Maybe Kyle is gonna go with them? Maybe Kyle is gonna go with them. Possible. Boom. Boom. I definitely have, like, learned most of the drinks at this point, which is nice. Here, with all the strength of a raging fire. Thank you, dear innkeeper. My blood is boiling with euphoria. Any particular reason for your shopping trip? A very particular one, dear innkeeper. It's a matter of life and death. I must head out to purchase this wonderful sustenance known as comfort food immediately. Do you know what comfort food is? I haven't the slightest idea. But it is rumored to restore you mortals back to full health. I'm afraid Rhea will perish should she not receive it. Sounds serious. Has she fallen ill? Fatal case of something called being in the zone. I assume it's highly dangerous. She refused to move away from her drawing board for over a year now. Most? There's a lot you don't make. I mean, there's a lot that I don't make, but those are the high-level ones. We hardly ever make any of those, except for very, very specific circumstances. I'm talking about the ones that we're making, like, all the fucking time. Like Frosted Lagoon, Southern Brawler, Sparking Nebula, Swift Strike, and Spoken Heart. Those are like 90% of the game. She's refused to move away from her drawing board for over a year now. She even threw me out of the room upstairs when I offered her a blood pellet snack. How will her body handle yet another year without food? I have some good news for you. Rhea hasn't been sketching for a year. You guys checked in yesterday. How fortunate! And as for your legendary item, you should ask her about it. Generally, everyone has a different idea of what they consider comfort food. How wondrous! Something tells me you should give her some time before you go upstairs to ask. Why? Her patience is on cooldown. I don't think Rhea is cold. Her room is very well heated. If anything, I think she's a very warm person. Right. I suppose she seemed a bit cold when I offered her blood. Let's give her some time to warm up again. Very well. Shall remain for a while. Once I have acquired the correct comfort food, I will make sure my friend eats every last bite. Like a vampiric mother hen to her vampiric chick. I didn't know there were vampire chickens. There aren't. Do you know that for certain? Yes. I could have sworn the ones at my family's estate had fangs. Chickens can't develop teeth. And here I thought we were comrades in blood hunger. Chickens are still very fascinating all on their own. Did you know they have very colorful dreams? Oh, that's nice. I once helped a wild hen with her dream journal. I'll introduce you to sometime. My favorite things about chickens is that they purr when they're happy. What charming creatures. The more I learn about them, the more they remind me of vampires. So simple, sweet, and ferocious, yet their origin harbors one of the greatest mysteries of life. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg. I'll just agree with Clay. Not going the way in? I'm intellectually withdrawing myself from this conversation. Unlike this unsolved mystery, I do know how vampires were created. Would you mind elaborating? Aren't you intellectually withdrawing? As a cleric of Cassiopeia, humility is a lifelong objective that I strive towards. As such, I must admit when I need to concede words spoken in haste. Which would be now, I suppose. Please, if you wouldn't mind expanding on what you just said. There's our Elethea update. Her bravery verges on obsession, but maybe it's just to stroke her own ego. She presumably has never taken a break in her whole life and probably never will. But lately she seems to be warming up to others. Out of all the cute animals she could have chosen to love, she's particularly fond of bleak stalkers. Certainly. It must have been over 5 centuries ago when a scholar stole some of the immortal blood of the dragons. The scholar offered it to Queen Annabeth, who would become the vampire's monarch. I have never heard of Queen Annabeth. I think that was just the plot of a really challenging board game, Kyle. Oh, you're right. So then, Mike was real after all? Mike? Yes, it's all coming back to me now. The first vampire that walked this world was the infamous Mikhail. But most of us call him Mike. He had a very close connection to the spirit dragon in his domain. Eventually, Mike struck a deal with Twat. In exchange for guarding the dragon's realm, he would get to live forever. That didn't work out, I guess. Old Mike didn't really read the fine print. The spirit dragon turned out to be quite a trickster. Twat turned him into a new form of undead creature, invulnerable to age and disease, but still weak to the blade. Blood was the only thing he could stomach to consume, and with time, even sunlight became intolerable. Mike was no longer welcome among the living, but the dead didn't want him either. And that's how the first vampire was created. Fascinating. There's so little known about the spirit dragon and his realm. Kyle, just how do you possess knowledge that's considered ancient by today's standards? What knowledge? The knowledge you just told us about. Ah, I stumbled upon it in a grimoire I bought the other day at the local bookstore. Nope, that was the vampire romance book Carolyn recommended to you. Try again. But of course! Dear Evelyn was such a history fanatic, how could I not pick up on a few stories? That was one of her favorites. I still dream of her deathly beautiful countenance as she narrated tales until the intruder stopped screaming. Oh god. She always told the story of our progenitor, Mike, so softly. She would cradle a vial of his blood and her tone would be so reverent. Secret to share just with me, she would say. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to break the last oath between us. As well. I'm sure we can help you keep this a secret, right? A secret between friends. Secrecy is how we can repay you for sharing this with us, so be it. Since you seem to have been very close to her, I wanted to let you know. We traveled past Marrow Castle on our way back. It looked awfully damaged. The destruction looked fresh. If we only passed by earlier. Claven spotted a heavily armored silhouette a short distance away from what remained of the castle walls. We hurried over as quickly as possible, but the shadow was gone by the time we got there. As it was, only rubble remained. Was my dear Evelyn unharmed? We don't know. The castle looked abandoned, like a ruin. My Evelyn, what horrid fiend could have inflicted such damage? She must have fought back fiercely. May her opponent suffer twice the damage they inflicted upon her. What I wouldn't give to know her safe. I think I need to ask Rhea about her comfort food. Okay, there's Kyle's. Despite his short and often fragmented memory, he has extensive knowledge of all the origin of vampires. Which could be expected when you're a vampire yourself, I suppose. Even though he still seems to be caught up in his long-lost marriage, he really took a liking to the person who dug him up. So we've got most of the characters now. We still need Dave's final one. We need Carolyn's final one. We need Rhea's final one, which we're probably about to get. And then Scully, Grace, Una. We still have one more for Clay. But then, yeah, Melly's finished off and stuff too. Let's Let's give him some time to come to terms with what he just learned. Yeah. He seems okay, though. Carolyn! Burnout? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How did your quest go? Greetings, brave adventurers. What's that noise? That's his spine. Indeed. Oh, are you alright? Worry not, friend. 'Tis but a scratch. Sorry about my drink order. How about telling me what's going on? And returning to a proper order of conversation? Apologies, friend. I might have jumped the crossbow there. Let us recount our tale properly, Dame Carolyn. There's much to tell, honestly. You look exhausted. Do you want some rest then? No, just wanting a drink. It can be arranged. Something to regain my strength. Good one might net you a story. No pressure. Alright, strength. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And boom. The drink is still moving. I need to give it a second. Wait, it wasn't though. I was moving too fast. Great drink for a great story. Aren't you lucky? I'd like to think luck has nothing to do with it. Perhaps not. Might have something else to cheer you up. Oh. Mellie's back. Oh. Relieved? Like a great sword's been lifted off my shoulders. She alright? Hey, there's our final update for Carolyn. Who would have thought that such a fearless warrior never learned how to swim? But I'm sure her newly found family will teach her. Eventually, seems like the lone wolf is not so lonely after all. Carolyn definitely lives up to her Baba's heritage, even if she doesn't see it yet. Yes, though you might prefer to see for yourself. She and Dave left their address to give to you. Who? Ah, you know them. Right, got it. Only one person would fit such an uninspired name. Huh, you better have apologized to Melly or else. You have to find out the details for yourself, just don't keep them waiting. Don't need to tell me that. Babel isn't back then? No. Sure are taking their time. Feel like looking for him yet? No, they're capable. Just my patience is starting to wear thin. You had some to begin with? Pretty chatty for someone within greatsword distance. Right. Can I interest you in one of my drinks as well, Scully? With an offer like that, my friend, how can a skeleton say no? Perhaps something to enhance my aura? I would like to do the proclamation of this tale proper justice. Yeah. Okay. So that would be Spoken Heart, which is, yeah, attack and defense. And there we go. Please enjoy. Oh my. They say manners maketh man, but this drink alone has invigorated me plenty. I can almost feel the warmth of flesh on my bones again. Pleasure to be of service? Seem awfully eager to talk about this. And you're not? Was it no help alleviating that cursed boredom? Ugh, I sneezed. It was eventful, alright, just lacking a sense of accomplishment, I guess. No use continuing this pity party. Let's start telling the story I know you're itching for. Much obliged. Started by making our way westwards, though our progress was slow. Any complications? Yes, quite a few. Before embarking on this journey, I was woefully ignorant about the plight of the Thesian farmers. Less than ideal water conditions, the flood that ruined a lot of crops, and now this pesky undead problem. I was stricken with empathy for their struggle. The least we could do was offer up our means of transportation for any soul looking for a better life further north. So we switched carriages. 3 times. By the 3rd time we had gotten so far off course, it took us a whole day just to get back on track on foot. Once our hike was over, we did get to spend a wonderful afternoon with Dame Carolyn's cousin, Lady Danica. That was nice, I guess. Cousin with the undead snail problem, yeah? Did you manage to liven up that garden for her? Sure did. Just had to set out some cabbage to lead him somewhere we wouldn't be damaging any crops, and they were vanquished with one magnificent blessed strike. Truly a sight to behold. Just some undead snails, no need to have gotten so excited. To match the excitement, Lady Danica served us some positively delightful cups of tea. Better than any accompanying finger sandwiches were some new facts I'd gleaned from observing the snails. Even lacking souls, they still displayed some pack behavior. They acted nothing like real animals, of course, but somehow I am struck with empathy for their plight. To unconsciously seek out a manner of instinctual action. Despite the lack of anything to grant them a conscious objective. Is there a more transparent yearning for purpose than that? My apologies, it appears what they say about old age is true. You can't help but philosophize. And you couldn't help but relate. In a way. One can't help but wonder whether any choice I make is truly my own, or just a post-mortem reflex of these old bones. Perhaps even my thirst for knowledge. Yet your enjoyment of it seems genuine. Truly, Innkeeper, you have a way with words. There's lots of experience. Though that may be, my worries seem rather foolish now. Count myself as quite fortuitous, that despite all my memory lacks, I can delight in learning it all again. Does it really matter, where such an urge comes from? Anyhow, my apologies, Dame Carolyn. I completely derailed our epic tale. Allow me to make up for it by continuing post-haste. We departed after that lovely cup of tea and finally headed for the Pale Woods. Lady Danica provided us with a card and trusty steed, a cow with the most lovely temperament. Her name is Liselette? I butchered that. Host also gifted us this delightful lucky charm, said that no evil would hurt us or Liselette on our way. But now that our little adventure is over, we thought we'd give it to you instead. Some extra luck never hurts. Where did it even show up? I'm guessing behind one of you? Possibly? It's an adorable little fella. How'd you like it? I apologize, I derailed again. Where was I? Ah, our journey. I made sure to greet the gentleman that passed us on our way to the woods. The magnificent shadow armor he was wearing, something about it felt oddly familiar. Perhaps it was only my hope that we would look just as gallant after our quest. That's the second time we've heard about a person that seems like a shadow and is in armor. Celeste valiantly took us to the edge of the forest where maliciousness permeated the very air we breathed. Is that our character that's doing all the sigils? What he means is it stunk. Real bad. We left Liselette there. Sparing her the stench seemed like the right thing to do. And forth we ventured. Didn't take a long time to find what we were looking for. The place was crawling with them. Which also explained the fucking smell. For some reason the miasma didn't seem to bother me much. Yeah, I wonder. Most respectfully, you don't have a nose. Oh, of course. Anyways. There was a veritable horde before us, an army of undead creatures shambling their way through the forest. One gnawed tree at a time? There we go. They're awfully interested in those trees, it's true. At that point I was ready to start decimating their numbers. And I would have done so if Scully hadn't held me back just as I was unsheathing my sword. I was keen to observe them for a moment longer. The undead creatures were displaying similar patterns to those snails. They weren't just stumbling around senselessly. They seemed to be following a pack leader. Maybe there was a non-violent solution left at hand after all. I convinced Dame Carolyn to hold off on the violence for just a bit longer. I was still working out the best point from which to attack him. Couldn't hurt to try out Scully's idea first. Except it did hurt. Yeah. While Dame Carolyn remained hidden in the shadows of the thicket, I walked up to the leader, another skeleton, making sure I displayed an open and respectful disposition. Suppose they were not open and respectful in return? Nope. Or I could even react, the skeleton had bitten down on Scully's arm. Agony! Not putting much thought into it, I threw one of my knives. Sorry, I only realized later that the knife I threw was one I had accidentally taken from here. How will my tavern ever survive this? Accidentally, was it? Yeah, a mistake, honest. Spit it out already. I'll replace it or pay you back, or... Don't worry, I'm just joking. If I kept you too safe, then I'm glad you accidentally took it. Thankfully, your drink did its job wonderfully as well. Their teeth were unable to leave even a scratch on me. Dame Carolyn was as fast as the wind as she got me away from the hungry undead. Yay, it seems like we chose the right one for this too. And so our fierce battle began. With ease, Dame Carolyn took out several of them at once. Would have been a lot easier if I hadn't had to carry you. My apologies, I was still mourning the breakdown in communication. But I got back on my feet eventually. Before long, we were both battling off swarms of the undead. They seemed endless. For every undead creature defeated, two would take their place, dragging the battle on. I know one thing about fighting is that you need to watch your stamina. It can last forever, but our enemies could. One of them cleaved me straight in half. I was lucky Dame Carolyn caught my upper body. but I'm fairly certain we mixed up the order of some of my thoracic vertebrae when we put them back together. Still, being held in her arms put me in the perfect position for a strategy meeting. I thought back to how we had dealt with those snails. You were being held... Wow, a lot of people would love to be held in Carolyn's arms. I felt like I needed to maximize the impact of my blessed strikes, and fell all of them with just one. So we baited him and ran, leading him to a nearby clearing. My separated legs rounded up the ones that didn't fall for the first baiting, and once at the clearing I reunited with myself, luring them all towards the center. As all the undead creatures gathered around my two halves, the sky cleared up. Like a crash of thunder, the sound of Dame Carolyn descended from the sky, or a tree, was all that could be heard. For a moment, my eye holes were completely blinded by the radiance of that blessed strike. You're exaggerating. I like it. Sounds very heroic. It was! I don't think it counts when what I did was essentially pointless. Did the strike not land? It did. While the strike hit home, I realized most of the creatures could be resurrected again at any point. It's a shame, truly, but usually blessed weapons stop that from happening. Even though we fought so valiantly. Oh, but we did get you something else as well. Hey, Knife the Rainbow. When's the tavern burst into flames? Probably when Hex gets here. Right. Here. Trees looked really chewed on and dead, but the berries seemed like they were thriving. They're the ones Elfie was going on about. Not like they're here to appreciate them now, so I guess you can have them. Just set aside to make Fable a drink when they're back. Sounds fair? Ghostberry! I got a ghostberry. There it is. Oh, it looks adorable! It was very kind of you to bring them back for your friend. Yeah, it was. Still wonder what all those undead creatures were doing there. No idea. Hunger? Though it did look like they were heading somewhere, seemed to be heading north. Maybe they were searching for more trees? Pale Woods is one of the largest forests in Phaesia. I don't see a reason for them to leave the area before it was barren. Unless they were ordered to. Don't they typically come with a necromancer attached? Oh my, they do, and... I don't suppose that gentleman we encountered outside the woods could have been that very necromancer. I don't think farmers wear armors like you described. Shit. Just realized where they could be heading. It's true there aren't many woods around here that compare to the Pale Woods. But that giant root in the capital must look pretty good to some tree-obsessed undead, so this is the next sigil. They're just gonna eat the root. Shit indeed. Rumor unlocked, high fiber risks. Just to clarify, you believe hordes of undead creatures are marching towards the capital? Well, towards the roots would be my guess. I see. They're heading towards Themis to gnaw at the divine roots as if to... fell the Aether Tree. Precisely. Not that such an action alone could destroy the entire thing, but it would certainly do some damage. What in the fuck are you talking about? You have a mouth, Carolyn. As I just stated, something is trying to destroy the Aether Tree. The Starfall, the Primordial Flood, even the interplanar portals, it's all part of a big plot. Was that not clear? No. Oh my, that's awful. Insane if true. Is it working? Fortunately so, or do you see stars in the night sky? Because we don't know who's behind it yet either. Well, Carolyn, Mr. Scully, the gentle person you greeted outside the woods, you thought he might be a necromancer? He certainly bore the armor of one. Did he seem like he wanted to kill everyone? Not particularly, though it can be hard to tell sometimes. Lightness and the desire for homicide aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Necromancers resurrect dead things to make undead creatures. Indeed they do. So, Scully, you were resurrected, right? Do you remember anything about it? Well, I admit, at first I recalled very little from the start of my new life. I mostly stumbled about trying to remember my manners. My memories, or rather the memories of my body, which I suppose are also my memories, have been getting clearer lately. There's another one. We still need Rhea and Dave. But we are getting there. He's very interested in studying other undead since he strangely returned to life sentient, not as a lifeless puppet. Scully tried to strike up conversation with other zombies, and while doing so, spotted the very necromancer he had seen when he awoke. Presumably he resurrected the others too. Ah. Makes sense. Let me try to focus my thoughts. I believe I awakened in the archives, in the Everbloom. The Everbloom, did you encounter any Bleak Stalkers? I did indeed. They seemed very hungry for my bones. Such interesting creatures. They remind me of the old intellect wombats. Do those beasts still roam Phesia? No. What are intellect wombats? Priorities to you. Scully, who woke you up? A gentleman of fine age. I believe he was there to do research. I remember candles held over notes scribbled on paper, ink stains on fingertips. He must have found me near my friend's study. I remember I was looking for her when... After I woke, I simply left. How rude and uninquisitive of me. I should have asked what he was researching. I could have helped. Glad you did not aid him. We found his notes. They spoke of the destruction of the universe. The guy from the woods remind you of the one in the archives? Now that you mention it... I wasn't conscious enough to recognize faces when I rose, but I knew the armor looked familiar. I think I saw it when I first reopened my eyes. Metaphorically, of course. I no longer have eyelids. The necromancer is behind all of this. Is he trying to break the sigils just to get to Twat, the spirit dragon in the realm of death? Sigils? Are you perhaps speaking of the sigils of Alcahest? My friend was researching them once. I always thought them a figment of her wild imagination. Seems like they're not, unfortunately. The necromancers usually want to destroy Twat? No, but they do defy his laws of life and death. Perhaps he craves access to all the souls the spirit dragon guards. Or he plans to destroy death once and for all with all his perversions. But my dears, to destroy Twat, one must find him first. That in itself would be quite the impossible task, no? Exactly. Spirit realm is well protected, but there are ways to get to him. Can you kill death? I don't know, but merely attempting it sounds dangerous. Miss Anwar, Mr. Moore, Twat is the god of death. No matter how insane the necromancer, no one could possess a weapon powerful enough to fight a god. Only weapons made by dragons can harm them, we all know this. You mean like Ur's great axe? A weapon forged for the dragons by the dragons, only meant for their claws. And we have heard about this. The axe could certainly cut through the barrier between the astral sea and the upper world, if not through Twat itself. Stealing an axe from a dragon count as a sigil? Alright, y'all lost me again. I talked about this already, keep up. I'll explain later. Huh. The count as a sigil if it awakens or damages their plane. Or should not be awakened under any circumstances, nor should their legendary weapon fall into the hands of a mere mortal. My, this is quite concerning. I'm right there with you. Why would I say I wouldn't worry about it too much? Seems like too insane of a plot, even for some big bad evil guy. They always seem to be reaching for new heights in their dastardly schemes. If we are correct, this one plans to steal Ur's weapon, break their sigil, and then destroy Twat. Dragons be with us. What about the undead creatures marching towards the capital? It must be a distraction, a way to keep anyone who would interfere off his back. Quite a dangerous distraction, if you ask me. Those bastards, they should be snacking away at those roots. They shouldn't be snacking away at those roots either way, should they? No. And those sigils of alcohol zest you keep talking about could do what? Alcohol zest, yeah, that's it. Spirit realm rests above all others in the canopy of our world. What we believe to be this monster's plan succeeds, it will collapse down into the rest of the Aether Tree. Not only would that free all dead souls, it would destroy the tree, our home, our cosmos, and everything below it. It would destroy our world as we know it. Not to mention, Twat might die. I don't think I have to explain to you why death dying would be a bad thing. Once again, can he die? Wouldn't risk it. Though I believe this plot of his has to be limited somewhat, no? Perhaps to the transitional period between the astral moon and the dying moon? Only then could the veil between Cassiopeia and Twat be thin enough for a ritual of such magnitude to succeed. Wait, what you mean is this can only happen the night between the 35th of Cassiopeia and the last of Twat? So it can only work in 4 days or next year? Precisely. Guess you can have a ritual without unnecessarily complicated rules. I mean, Tia already explained this too. It is common courtesy. I have been wondering, remember that man we saw on our way back near Marrow? Yes. Do you think he might have been the same guy? I do. Strange armor sounds familiar, as does the convenient proximity to destruction. And more so, that blood of the first vampire Kyle spoke of. Part of the ritual to safely traverse the astral sea involves having an associated anchor for your destination. To find Twat, you need something connected to him. Like the blood of a vampire eternally bound to him? Yes. Maybe our villain got his hands on it. Perhaps he knows more of Cassiopeia than I anticipated. Oh, this out-of-context bullshit is giving me a headache. And Keep, got another drink to spare to help with all this mess? Something powerful enough to get me through this? Anything for you. Ugh. Need another sip after all that. Ugh. I've been exploring medical specialties I might be interested in. That sounds fun. Hope it's going well. Okay, so you just want a Southern Brawler. Ding. Put all the strength I have into this drink. Enjoy. I think you just put parts of my sanity back together. Thanks a lot. Anytime. So, this madman. If you can't get the axe, you can't kill the spirit dragon, right? Correct. Great. Stop him from getting the axe then. Great idea. I know. How do we do that? Well, first the necromancer needs to find it. For that, we'd have to get to Ur's realm. Thanks to the portals, that is entirely within the realm of possibility. One would simply have to journey through one of the portals to the Twilight Chasm, and then enter the Endless Caves to the Nightmare Realm. Nothing easier than that. Didn't Melly see some weird new bone way markers near the Twilight Chasm portal in the Moon Swamps? Could they be there to remind someone, say a necromancer, the way to the portal? They could. Good. The moon pools are much easier to reach than Boreas. I'm a little bit worried because, if I remember correctly, this is where Fable went to try and find Melly, because that was the last lead they had. So... yeah. Should catch the necromancer before he ventures into the chasm, and most certainly before he gets the axe. Right, let's go beat his ass. Hold on. What if you don't succeed? I have faith in you, bud. He sounds powerful. How about a backup plan? I hate to say it, but you're not wrong. Thanks for looking out for us. If we don't manage to stop him from getting the weapon, we stand no chance in a fight against him. Even your divine strikes would be no match, Miss Anwar. It's true. I need an incredibly powerful weapon the match is. Not sure if it's enough, but I do have this sword I got from my Baba. Let me see it. This is remarkable craftsmanship infused with minor divine powers. Incredible. But I'm afraid even this cannot rival the Great Axe in any capacity. What if it was mixed with dragonfire? What? You happen to have such a thing on hand, young lad? No, but I know where we can find some. The ever-burning flame in the Highlands is dragonfire. The one you wanted to see to you. I think now might be a good time for that. You're right, dragonfire merged with Carolyn's blessed sword. Wouldn't be as powerful as the axe, but it might give us a fighting chance. Carolyn's the main character! Yeah! Go be the hero, Carolyn. If we had a master craftsman to forge it, that is. Raya, she's a blacksmith. Would be great for her competition, for sure. Yeah, my sword would get her first place, no question. I'll make sure to bring that up while trying to convince her. Thanks for the idea. Very well, I'm sure Master Smith Frostgrip will be delighted with this opportunity. Having her on our side makes me even more confident that we can stop this necromancer's plans. I have the utmost faith in us, and I know the aperture and its astral portal are well protected even if we should fail, though I don't believe we will. Because I know I'm strong enough to best this battle, and that Clay is as well. And the others too. Yes, the others too. To be honest, I'm not sure if the four of you will be enough. Don't worry, there are a lot of people we can ask for help. Like you. Like me. Ask away. I knew we could count on you. Collect everything we talk about, right? Try my best. Could you write us up 2 quests for all this? I think we should split our resources so we get the backup plan going at the same time. Good idea, young man. Plus that'll give us an excuse to have your drinks help us. Not that you need an excuse, but I appreciate you following my rituals. See what I can do. Should have something written up first thing in the morning. Trust in you as you trust in us. Deeply? Yes. Deeply and with the knowledge that together we are stronger. Oh, Clay's blushing. See you in the morning then. Carolyn, come with us. We owe you a few explanations before we make you do any persuasion work for us. It is interesting, your bartender can be such an ass. Got that right, let's go. I never picked those options, but god. Not miss out on more possible details. I shall see you in the morning, Innkeep. Thank you for all your help. Let's save the world, alright? Let's, Clay. Good luck. Well, this seems like it's reaching ahead at this point. Let's see. Oh yeah, the time I accidentally picked it. The enemy aims for the destruction of the Aether Tree. He needs the Great Axe of Ur to collapse the Spirit Realm onto the rest of the tree. That's true. Legend has it the Great Axe of Ur lies deep inside the subterranean caves. Only weapon, yep, killing his great grandfather, the undead marching to the capital. Which plane of Ur can be accessed through the Twilight Chasm, a plane that can be entered through the portals of our world. There we go, that's the quest. So we have 3 quests. World calamity is imminent, but there's one way to save it. The only weapon strong enough to harm Twat and the Aether Tree is the legendary Great Axe of Ur. And the personification of evil wants it desperately, but first he must make it through the Twilight Chasm, and for that he needs a portal. Sounds like a good location to stop him. Okay. The capital is wrapped in roots. According to a myth as ancient as time, these are the roots of the Aether Tree. The undead are marching towards the capital. And these undead can't seem to get enough fiber. What better tree to chomp down on than the Aether Tree? Yep. Alright. Carolyn's great sword once belonged to her grandfather. Only a weapon forged with dragonfire can resist. Hopefully the ever-burning flame lives up to its name. And legends or clerics say that the first flame Leviathan ever bestowed upon mankind still burns the temple. So now we're down to just 2 things. So there's going to be a final quest to actually defeat the Necromancer, it seems. Who apparently likes plum crepes. Only a weapon forged in dragonfire could ever dream to hold up against the Great Axe of Ur. Luckily, a temple in the Highlands houses the ever-burning flame. Yep. Carolyn's gonna be a hero! Bum bum. Alright. We are here. I'm going to save there, and we are definitely going to end off today, but it definitely seems like stuff's starting to come to a head. So maybe we'll finish next time? Dunno. We'll see, though.